Hey guys, this is Roxana. Welcome back to the Organic Healing Leaf. And today I wanted to jump on here and show you my homemade marinara sauce. There's a lot of benefits to making your own food when you're losing weight and making your own sauces up. And these are really simple recipes, so they're not time consuming and you can make them up. But they can be very beneficial to your weight loss because a lot of store-bought sauces, they can have extra ingredients that, is just not good for your body. A lot of times it's put in there to preserve so it can sit on the shelf for long periods of time. Otherwise, it would go rancid. And so that's why, like with homemade stuff, you can't do that because it doesn't have all those preservatives and stuff to give it a shelf life. It'll last for so long in your refrigerator. You could probably probably will last you a couple weeks, and then you'd have to make some more. I just make it as needed. But this is, I could really tell a difference in my weight loss when I used my homemade sauces. So I'm going to show you this real quickly. So far I have, I know. Let's see here. This is going to sizzle in a minute. This is some garlic and white wine. And what I did was I put the garlic in there. I put, I put 4 cloves of garlic, minced garlic. Well, I already bought this pre-minced, but and then I let it sit in the white wine. Now you can do it overnight, or you can do it for about 15. Let's turn this down a little bit. You can do this for about, if you didn't get to put it in there overnight, you could let it sit in the wine, the garlic and the wine, for about 15 minutes and then start making the recipe. So I think I might need to let this cool down just a little bit. So it doesn't burn. So it's going to sizzle some when you put the garlic and the wine in. So you kind of like want it to sizzle and then immediately like put the garlic and the wine in there. It's going to kind of sizzle and bubble a bit, and then immediately put the tomato puree in. I may have accidentally had the heat on just a little too high for that, but I should have done it, well, I should have done it a little bit quicker, but I was over here talking, but you get the idea. I kind of had the pot preheating, and then I was stopping and talking to you guys, and I should have timed things out a little bit better, but it is supposed to bubble, like maybe not quite that much, but it is supposed to bubble. So if you get a bubbling effect like that, don't be afraid. I'm trying to squeeze all the tomato because I had put the organic tomato puree in my bags, and then I froze them for when I was getting ready to make this sauce. And I just bought a brand that I got at Publix of tomato puree. It comes in a glass bottle. Let me see if I can show you the glass bottle. So I took the label off of this bottle, but it kind of looks like so. I don't know. Hold on, guys. Let me show you. I tell you what, I'll show you the bottle in just a minute. But it's a glass bottle, kind of. I don't know. I can't show it really well right here, but it's kind of like a glass bottle. And it's like unsalted tomato puree. It's just 100% tomato, and that's what you want to go for. I'll show you the bottle in just a few minutes a little bit better. So I'm going to put this back down on a medium heat. We're going to stir the garlic into the sauce really well. You don't want to get a puree that's already salted, or because a lot of times it's going to have a ton of sodium and it's going to be salted with table salt, which is not going to be good for you or your weight loss. So get something that's unsalted. Make your own unsalted if you want to, or at least, if nothing else, find something low sodium. But ideally, get the non-salted one, and then you can salt it yourself with pink Himalayan salt to taste. So, but I'm getting all that garlic in there, stirring it around. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do, now, I didn't have fresh basil, but ideally, if you could get your hands on fresh basil, you would want to put that in. But I'm going to use dried basil because that's what I have. If using the fresh basil, though, gently bruise or tear it and then add it to the pan, and then just continue to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and just add the dry basil. So you want to stir occasionally when you're making this sauce until the tomatoes have thickened and turned like, you know, you want the sauce to kind of be like, you want it to thicken up. Now, one thing I did forget is that I usually put tomato paste in this. I will buy like a tube of tomato paste and put it in there because it helps thicken the sauce. But I just realized I don't have that, so we're going to see how this works without it. I mean, it might be like a thinner sauce because I don't have it, but just FYI, and you could follow this recipe, and then right after, you could do it like right before you put the basil in, like I just did. Just before you do that, just stick a whole tube of tomato paste in there. It'll help give it a thicker consistency. So let's see here, guys. So now we're going to add the salt. I kind of did like, measured out kind of like a half a tablespoon, and I'm gonna start with that first. So let's stir that in with the basil here. And you can kind of taste as you go. So like if you feel like you need more sauce or more basil, you know, you can add some more in. So I'm gonna stir this salt in here really good and see if that gave me the consistency I wanted. Okay. Okay, that half a tablespoon, that was pretty good. That was pretty good consistency. It's not over salted, but it's just right. And I think we did good on the basil too. So now you just want to use a little bit of pepper, unless you just really like pepper. Sorry for the loud noise. I almost dropped the salt shaker on the floor. Okay. Now, this is something I haven't done before. Oh, well, hold on. Before I show you. Well, no, I'll show you. I'm obsessed with this new spice. I just recently made my friend Anna's chicken soup, and she didn't advise this particular seasoning, but it was another one. But I think this is kind of comparable to it, although I do want to try the one that she suggested. And when you see the chicken soup recipe that I'll upload, you'll know what that ingredient is, and I spelt it out because I wasn't really sure how to pronounce it. But I didn't have that, so I used something that I thought would be equally as good. So I'm just curious, and today I'm going to add this right here. I'm going to add this to the sauce, and I'll let you guys know what I think. I'm just curious. I want to see what it does, because this spice tends to like add a lot of flavor to just about any dish. I've never put it in a sauce yet. I've only done it in the soup, Anna's soup recipe, but it was amazing when I made it last night. I mean, it took that recipe to a whole nother level. So I'm just curious. I'm going to see what it does to my sauce, and I will let you guys know, because I've never put it in before when I've made this sauce. I'll let you know. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, kind of put it between medium and like 4. I'm going to let you guys know like if it's a go, or next time I'll leave it out type of thing. So the next thing I'm going to put is liquid aminos. You want to get the Braggs liquid aminos. And I'm going to I just put a little bit in here. You know, you don't want to overdo it or anything. I was very careful, and I just poured a little bit in. So I'm stirring that in there. And okay, so let's try the new spice. I don't know. I haven't cooked with this that much. I'll just put a little bit in. So we're gonna put that in. And I'm not very good at pronouncing that, so if somebody knows how to pronounce it well, maybe they can help enunciate it for the rest of the class. But sorry, your chef over here doesn't know. I know that's probably really bad, but it has kosher salt in it. So this is what I had on hand today. Now, I found one online that has, the sodium in here is not horrible. I mean, it's 140 milligrams. It's not the best, but it's not horrible because some seasonings have way more than that in it. So it's not horrible, and I didn't use a ton. So you're not getting total all of that sodium. But I found one online that I'm going to buy that's low sodium. So as soon as that comes in, we'll replace what I have here. But it does have kosher salt, dried onions, ground mustard seed, porcini mushroom powder, white button mushroom powder, crushed red pepper, black pepper, and dried thyme in it, just so you guys know. And now I'm going to add okay, you guys are probably going to hear my can opener here in just a second. Okay, so I am adding diced tomatoes to this. With the liquid. And I just got this brand right here. It's a Kroger, it's a Simple Truth brand. Petty diced tomatoes. Actually, this is my first time adding the petty diced tomatoes. Now, you don't have to add the petty diced tomatoes if you don't want to. If you just wanted it to be just a regular sauce without anything in it, you could do it that way. You could also add other things if you wanted to add some onions or some peppers in the sauce for when you jar it. But if you could do it that way, or if you just want to make the sauce by itself with no petty diced tomatoes, or if you want to make the sauce with the petty diced tomatoes and just leave it at that, that's perfectly fine. Or like I said, you could add onion or bell pepper to it and then jar, for when you jar it. Or you could leave it as a sauce, as is. Leave it with the sauce as is with diced tomatoes. And then when you go to use the sauce, you could also add in the, if you wanted to make it, put some onion or diced bell pepper in it to, kick up whatever you're using the sauce for, you can do it that way too. It doesn't matter. It's just your choice. And you can also make this recipe your own. So if you have kind of made your own recipe like this before and you're like, oh, like this sounds good, but I'm going to add my own touch, go for it. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now, like I said, I normally add tomato paste to this. So I'm hoping maybe the diced tomatoes might help thicken it up a little bit. And what I might do is I might have to end up taking this back out of the jar and maybe putting it back on the stove and adding the tomato paste and see if I can get it to thicken up a little bit. I mean, it's not too soupy. I think the diced canned tomatoes maybe gave it a little bit of thickness, and it's gonna simmer. So this is it, but I'm gonna put the lid. I'm gonna turn this on low now. Okay, so I'm turning the sauce on low, and now I'm going to let it simmer for 15 minutes. So that might help thicken it up too. I mean, it's not like I want the sauce to be super thick, but I like it to have a little bit of thickness to it, and it's not soupy or anything. Let's see if I can show you guys. Let's see here. pull you around here. It's not like super, it's not soupy. I mean, it's a little watery, but it's not like super watery or anything like that. It's not like, yeah, like it's not super soupy or anything. But like I said, if I would have put the tomato paste in there, it would have given it just a little bit more of a thickness, which is how I like it. But some people do like their marinara sauce to be not like completely watered down, but they like a little bit more of a, I guess, a water or like a watery consistency, but not like super watery. But it just depends on how you like your marinara. But yeah, since I kind of goofed on that end, I'm gonna try to redo it and see if it'll work that way. I think it will, so we'll just kind of fix that later. I'll dump it back in this pot and add it and let it simmer a little bit and let it thicken up a little bit more. But this is the jar I was trying to show you guys earlier. Well, okay, so this is the jar that I bought that had the unsalted tomato puree in it. So what I did is I put my puree out into Ziploc bags and froze it until I was ready to make this for you guys. And then, sorry about that salt on my counter. I got from when I accidentally almost dropped it on the floor. And then I took this bottle and I cleaned it out, and I have the little lid for it too. And then somebody took the label off for me. Oh, well, now I'm going to have to wash that again. Somebody was nice and took the label off for me. So now I'm just going to put I got 2 of these. So I'm going to put the sauce in here after I wash the lid, of course, since it dropped. But yeah, so the sauce is going to go in there, and then you'll just refrigerate it, and it can last for about 2 weeks, I would say. And then after that, you would want to remake the sauce again. Yeah, this is a really good recipe. And like I said, I know sometimes it's like, I know it's easier to go to the store and pick up a sauce. I also know that they do make sauces that are simple ingredients, which is fine. If you just get real desperate one time, then you can maybe go for that. But if you're really wanting to be serious about losing weight, and you really want to accomplish your goals, you got to make certain changes, lifestyle changes. And I don't cook with oil. And see, oil, that is in most, even the simple ingredient, healthier sauces, they all have an oil base. So the thing with that is most of the oils that you guys eat and cook with are not all 100% olive oil. And they're mixed with other lower grade oils, and then they have stuff in there to preserve it for a shelf life. Because you have to understand, all the things in the grocery store, like oil, and I'm trying to think of some other stuff, milk and stuff like that. See, milk, you used to get milk back in the day. The milkman delivered it to you like every week, maybe every other week. And they had to have this delivery system, and he had to come because, if you don't, then it's going to, and you had to drink it within a certain amount of time because it didn't have hormones and it didn't have stuff to preserve it in. So you had to drink it up and before the milkman came again, because otherwise it's going to spoil, right? The reason why, and same with your bread, it normally does not have a shelf life. Like when you see bread in the store, that's not normal. It's got stuff in it. That's why it has a shelf life. That's why it doesn't mold. And that's why they put a lot of this stuff in these sauces too. If you go to the store, these sauces, like tomato sauces, you couldn't put a homemade sauce like this on the shelf. It would go bad. So that stuff, like the oil, like I was saying, a lot of it is not 100%. If you actually buy 100% olive oil, which I actually do know, if I still have it saved, a website with a lady that makes it. It's expensive. Like, you're going to pay for it because it's cheaper for them to chalk a bunch of preservatives in and put oil in it and other things, low grade oil, and put it on a shelf and give it a shelf life. There's more money in that. So to make it homemade and do like this, it's more, for a lack of a better word, it'd be, for some people, at least money wise, more complicated and not probably as profitable. So that's why it's, important for you to know these things, because I didn't always know this either. And I did some research on oils, and I talked to this lady that makes her own 100% olive oil, and she has her own website and stuff. And yeah, like I don't know if I still have it saved, but it's not cheap. But that's because I think it's imported. If I'm not, I can't remember if she still lives in Italy or not. But she has imported ingredients in it. There's a long process to make good pure olive oil, and because of that, and because you're not using low grade oils and preservatives, it is going to be more expensive to make and to sell, and that's just the way it is. So if you can make something, like learn how to make this, which is simple and it's really quick and it'll last, for a good while anyway. And see, this doesn't have any oil in it, but it's still really good, But yeah, see, it's a lot of times if you look at the back of the ingredients is on your oils and stuff, you'll see that there's a bunch of other stuff in there. And I know some of them even say they're 100% olive oil, but they're not. They do have, you have to understand, a lot of these companies can get away with saying things. There's like kind of like loopholes, and it's like, well, we squeezed an orange in there and we put a vitamin C supplement, so we're going to say it's 100% vitamin C. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. But there's certain kind of things that they can get away with saying that it's like all natural or this or that, when it's not entirely the case. And that's important to know, like how to read your labels and ingredients and stuff like that. So, but anyway, yeah, a lot of them are mixed with, like, you'll have olive oil, but then you'll have a lot of other low grade oils in there. And if you eat those things a lot and cook with them, they can stall your weight loss. Coconut oil, I know some people are going to think about that and ask about that. It's probably better than the olive oil, but oil in itself can kind of stall weight loss, so it's better to cook without it. Coconut oil is not horrible, and it does have good things in it for you, but sometimes it can succumb to the same things where it's some of the ingredients in there, it's not pure coconut oil. It can be mixed with other things, other preservatives that actually take out the value of the oils and what they can do for you for the oil. So anyways, but this is, I don't cook with oil anymore. When I cook, I use vegetable broth and a mixture of vegetable broth and water. So that's how I've been successful in losing weight. And so, this is an oil-free, way of eating, and it will help, doing this will help reset your metabolism. So yeah, again, this is something that it could stall your weight loss. It can also affect other things like, maybe your cholesterol and other things in your body because of it not being like 100% pure olive oil and having other things mixed in with it. It's just not, most of what's on our shelf, even like the organic stuff, is just not all it's cracked up to be. So, yeah, so it's better just to leave it out. If you really want to be successful, just leave it out. Learn to cook with vegetable broth and water. I promise you, it's not hard, and it's doable, and it tastes just as good. So, there you go. You have it. This is a, obviously oil free. So yeah. And then again, I'm going to let this oil, where's my lid? Oh guys, where did I do with I gotta find my lid for this. I don't know where I put it. Usually I put my lids on the counter, and this one. All right, well, I'm gonna have to find my lid, but I'm about to. I've put it. I've got it on low, and I'm just gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna let it simmer for 15 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes because I've been talking and it's been simmering already. So, but you can do it for about 10 to 15 minutes. I would suggest the 15 minutes. And then I'll let the sauce cool down a little bit, and then I will add it to this lovely jar over here and put it in the refrigerator. So yeah, that's my sauce. And like I said, I usually make this up when I know I'm going to use it. So like, if you plan and you're like, oh, I think I want to make, spaghetti this week. Well, of course I don't eat the pasta, but I would have like I like to put it over eggplant. So I'll kind of make like these eggplant noodles, which I have